Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. It's Tracy here, and this is a little tips and tricks video, really, more tips. I'm making a hot water bottle cover for my daughter-in-law, and she really is into pandas. So I'm kind of making this with furry yarn, and I hope to put some ears and some eyes, a nose and a mouth on it to be a like panda decoration. But predominantly it's in this furry yarn. Now this is quite reasonably priced fur. It's by Little Dreams and Cuddly Super Soft Knitting Yarn. It's machine washable, which is another reason I chose it. And it's quite inexpensive from a store in the UK called B&M. But it is just kind of furry. And very difficult then to see your stitches. So that's where this little tips comes in. So I'm using a 6mm crochet hook because it is a chunky yarn because of the fur. And the hardest part of doing anything with fur is the very first row. I'll show you what I do in a second. But a lot of people advocate putting another strand, say like a white strand, alongside it, and then you can see where you're going. But to me, I judge it. I'm using a half treble, which is a half double in the US. Now, if you're crocheting normally and you know the width of your stitches, you kind of know where the next stitch is, and you can actually see the indentations if you look. So all I do is I just judge it. So I'll just make sure that I go exactly where I think that stitch is going to be. Although I've caught my yarn there. This is a quilted bear crochet hook. I thought I'd give them a try because I couldn't find any larger ones. So you can see, if you feel as well, you can actually feel where those stitches are. Now you don't have to go into the top two stitches. You can go into that main between the stitches if you want to. The reason I'm using this stitch is because I prefer, I nearly put it in my tea then, I prefer not to have big holes. But obviously with furry yarn, if you were to do a treble crochet, or which is a double crochet in the US, where you go through two and through two again, it's not going to be really holy because it's quite furry yarn and that's going to hide it. But it's very easy for me just to feel where I've got to go. But I can see it in my mind's eye anyway, where the stitch should be. I've caught my yarn again. I'm not sure if it's the way I'm holding it because I'm sitting differently where I'm doing this on camera, because I didn't split yarn or catch it before. So it could just be because it is actually quite a long crochet hook. And a lot of people's criticisms of hooks like Clover especially is that it's kind of short. You've got the handle and it's quite short, but these quilted bear ones are actually quite long. They haven't caught. They're quite good. So so far I've been quite impressed. I don't use all of my set. In fact, I've been giving some away in my orders for my shop, Hobby Rocks. I've been popping some in to orders because I won't use them all. But you can see roughly where it is. But I feel, you know, people have often said put another strand with it. And if that helps you, great. But I just feel that this yarn is chunky enough and I want it to be quite drapey. And I don't really want the stiffness of putting another strand in and making it even thicker. It's quite thick as it is, but it works really well. And I just feel that if you don't panic, and because you're not used to working with fur, if you don't panic, you can easily see where your stitch needs to be. Okay, so we'll leave that one for a second. And I don't have a great deal of yarn left. Anyway, I'm at the end of that ball. There's my end. So I'm going to use a new ball. So I might as well show you with this. Now, the hardest part is the chain and doing your first row. And I don't really want this to go on the floor. I didn't think about this. I normally have a little bowl that I put my yarn in. So we'll just put it over there. Okay, so basically you make your slip knot. And I find that if you do the chain fairly loosely, we'll do a few. Okay, so there's 10. Let's move that out of the way. Try not to put it in the T. Make 11. So now if you look closely, you can actually see the strand. So there's my first stitch, there's my second. So it's easy just to go in to the second one from the hook and do my first stitch. Okay, so then we need to find the second one. And it's quite simple, really, because you can see in your mind's eye where it should be. Even if you can't see that little strand, but if you manipulate it, you can see the cord that holds this yarn together. So it's quite simple, and you just aim for it. So don't be put off of working with fur. I've never really worried about it, but I can understand how some people say they can't see it, they can't see where they've got to go, and why some people would put that extra strand in. But to my mind, you don't really need it, because you can see there's your strand. Just, it's only the first row you've got to be this picky with. After that, it's quite simple. Well, I say simple, obviously. You just got to be a bit more vigilant, and you can't exactly do it in failing light. You do need to be able to see what you're doing. But it's quite easy to see, for me, these strands. You can see that there, the strand of it. So I wouldn't let it put you off, and have a little play with it. Buy some inexpensive stuff from a cheap store like I have, and have a practice with that. And you can feel and open your stitch up with your fingers. And see, this is the hardest row, is this particular one. But see, that's the one I've gone in. So you're looking for the next one, which should be here. You can feel it at the back. You can just about feel those stitches and push it in. So it's quite simple, really. Nearly there at the end. Not many to go. But, you know, I would say definitely give it a go. Don't be put off by it. Just feel it, and you can feel where you've got to put your finger and then push your hook into there. It does make you rather warm, though, I have to say, working with fur and fluffs. There we are. So we've done our first row, and now all we do is do a chain, which I cinch down because I don't want to mistake it. And there you go. You're just feeling in between. Feel your stitches. It's quite simple. So don't ever be put off working with fur. The worst part of it is frogging fur, because let's see if it works. Sometimes it can... Oh no, this is going quite well. Sometimes if you pull it too fast, it can lock up and you never get it out. I'm obviously going to undo this because I want to use this yarn to finish off my hot water bottle cover, which I'll show you once I've done. So hopefully that's been informative and a little helpful. But if you really struggle, you can put another strand in. But I personally have never done that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care. See you on the next one. Bye for now.